Let's talk about road rage. This is a PSA for anybody who struggles and deals with road rage on either a daily basis or at any point in time. So I want you to be able to take all these things into consideration that we're going to talk about today before you think about acting on your road rage. So recently there was a case that came to light. It had happened last year, and it seems that these are the facts of the case. Two drivers were driving down the highway. One of the drivers got upset at the other driver and decided to act aggressively. So according to witness testimony on this particular case, let's call him driver B, was being very aggressive, chasing driver A in and out of traffic, and it escalated. The anger just escalated. So driver B decided that he was going to go ahead and address these issues with driver A. So driver A was trying to cut him off, run him off the road, and do all types of things. So driver B said, "Oh, I'm not doing that." So driver B took a bottle of water and lunged it into driver A's car. And in doing so, according to the testimony, driver A said he was so stunned, he took out his gun and he shot at driver B's vehicle. And what he did was he struck in the vehicle the daughter of driver B's. Well, of course, driver B wasn't going to have it and decided to take out his gun and unloaded most of his weapon into driver A's vehicle, injuring driver A's child that was in the vehicle. Now, there's so many things innately wrong with this, but we'll break it down little by little. So the issue here was who gets charged for doing what particularly, and is there going to be criminal sanctions against them both? When this all occurred, the police officers decided to take them both into custody and book them, because this type of behavior obviously cannot continue and is not acceptable. But we'll find that as everything started going down this investigation pipeline, and we started getting footage, and we started getting witness testimony, and we found witness testimony that of people that were not involved in the driving incident but had witnessed what had happened, the court or the prosecutor's office made the following decision. Driver B would be charged with criminal sanctions, and driver A would not be charged. And the exception to this rule was stand your ground. And I know if you lived in Florida at any point in time, you have heard of stand your ground cases being used in criminal cases, the defense of stand your ground being used in criminal cases. So I think we know where this is going. So according to what was determined, it was determined that driver B was responsible because he threw a missile, or what Florida statute considers to be a missile, at driver A. Thus, driver A had no choice but to defend himself, and therefore he was justified in using deadly force because he was in imminent apprehension of bodily harm. So for those of you who don't know, stand your ground is essentially saying that if I have fear of imminent bodily harm, that I can use any type of force to defend myself, including deadly force, if I feel like I'm in imminent harm of either being killed or maimed or something of that nature. So stand your ground has been something that we use as a defense in the state of Florida. However, it has been very controversial because of the fact that sometimes it's questionable whether that defense is applicable to all types of situations. Florida law has said that you can use it in your property, you can use it in your dwelling, and you can even use it in your vehicle. And apparently this is an application of that case. Now, according to autocantage road rage survey, Orlando and Miami are among the 10 top cities in the country to have the least courteous drivers. So if you've driven in Orlando, Florida, or Miami, Florida, you will know that you encounter a lot of very interesting, aggressive, and difficult drivers. And unfortunately, we've forgotten about courtesy and how to treat one another. We also forgot the rules of the road, because a lot of times these things are caused by people who, if I put on a signal light, then they're going to be aggressive and they're going to try to cut me off because, God forbid, I use my signal light. These are the type of things that happen. Now, what is the moral of this story? The moral of the story is that we have to act like grown adults. We have to be first courteous and kind, because you know what? Driving is a privilege and not your right to do so. That is why we take these privileges away from people that do not know how to be responsible drivers, including with DUIs or criminal things that people do. Now, in the state of Florida, if you try to run somebody off the road, you could potentially be put in jail for a crime, because you have an intent to do some type of harm to another person. Now, depending on the facts, and it's not in every case and it's not like a standard law, but if you run somebody off the road and it causes other damage, you're probably looking at some criminal sanctions. If you intend to do something to someone by using your vehicle to cause harm, then again, you may be looking at maybe aggravated assault and battery or something of that nature. So what are we learning from here? What we got to learn is the following. There are a bunch of crazy people driving in the state of Florida. And amongst the crazy people, there are those who have guns. Now, I'm not saying that anything wrong with owning a gun. That is your Second Amendment right. I agree with it. Go ahead and have at it. However, we have to be responsible. As we have to be responsible with driving, we should be responsible with our guns as well. But regardless, the moral of the story is we should probably be more courteous, and we should be adults. If somebody is escalating some type of road rage incident on the road, then let's be the bigger person and either get off the road, change direction, slow your pace, or just allow the person who's being irrational to move on with their lives. Now, if that person then comes to be an aggressor again, let's say you pull off the road and they're chasing you down the road and they come to threaten you, that's a different situation. But in most road rages cases, I think that we can say that one party can de-escalate the whole situation. So for the Florida drivers out there, please be careful and please be kind.